Hi guys, it's Brandon again with the Filmmakers Hangout Podcast. I'm your host and my co-host,
Landon. Good afternoons.
And today on the show we have a great guest. We call him Z. Z, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, my name is Zdenek Voprada, and I'm happy to be here today with you guys.
And
My first podcast, first one.
Yes, Z is an actor in the area. What is some of the things? I believe that you just got into acting not too long ago. What are some of the?
6 years now. This is my sixth year.
Okay, so yeah, time has kind of gone fast.
It
Hasn't
was quick. I was like,
okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah, wow.
Did not realize we've known him that long.
2019.
It's been a minute.
Okay.
Started.
So what are some of the things that you've noticed that you have changed for you on camera from day one to maybe your latest project? You know, since taking like classes and things like that. If you've watched yourself back, something that you've noticed of yourself.
Well, I would say, more confidence, a little bit more security, like less nervousness. I still get nervous, I guess I don't know when that's going to stop, but 6 years into it and I'm still getting nervous. But
I don't think it ever will.
I agree. It's just try to learn how to relax, but not too much so I don't look sleepy on on film. But definitely more confidence, more security, and seems like you're just having a little bit more fun with it, It's more enjoyable.
And I think on the aspect of somebody from behind the camera aspect, I could think, seeing my actors nervous, actually, I'm not worried about that. It doesn't make me nervous because in a weird way, it makes me think, oh, they care. They're worried.
They don't want to mess up.
They don't want to mess up. So they actually care to be here. They're not just doing it to do it. So in a weird way, I kind of want you to be nervous, not to a point that it makes you sick or anything like that. Yeah. What are some of your favorite things that you've learned in class that kind of you can maybe tell upcoming actors that, you didn't realize until you went to class, like, that's what I did wrong, or, oh, that's the way to actually get to that rather than what you thought it might have been?
Well, it would be good actually to first introduce my class, which is the 402 Arts in Benson. I am being coached by Nicole Callahan. Has been with me for 6 years, and the class is pretty intense, and it's strict, and we're basically learning. We started with the basics, trying to break down the script, learn about the script, and getting all the most important things about, what's the objective and motivation, obstacles, and what's at stake, and all these sort of things. And every week we have a scene, we break down the scene, and we go like line by line. And we're always trying to create the good thoughts. That's one thing I never knew about acting, that each line has a meaning, and each line has each punctuation should have its own thought,
Right.
And that's what can build up a nice arc when you're acting, instead of just having a flat, like a line, and just saying the lines,
Right. So it's not just padding for the one line.
Yes.
All the other lines, every line should mean something when you're saying it.
And I always respect, the script and the writer, because every writer always have some kind of a meaning with the line that they create, and or they try to say some kind of a message. So I always try to make sure that I do my best to, fulfill that wish and make the play come to life, so they'll be happy, because somebody who's writing a story is trying to do it the best work they can to create something, and that's what this is, creation. That's why I've also joined the acting, because I love creation, and I love art in general. And I used to be, in other sports like bodybuilding, which is also another creative sport. So I stuck with the same idea that art is a creation, and you can start with this character that is just like this piece of clay, and then you start reading the script, you start reading the lines, and you start shaping the character, until you create something magnificent,
Right.
Great. So that's what I really like. And I noticed that the more I study it, the more creative I can get,
So I'm assuming, because you were mentioning molding something from clay and everything like that, like a character, do you enjoy being able to work on films that the writer or the directors allow you a little bit of flexibility to find the character rather than them having to tell you exactly who you are the whole time?
Well, I try to do both, I definitely respect what the director and the writers, they want from me. And then I try to have a little bit more fun. And we'll see if the director will like it. Okay, say, oh, that was good, and I just leave it at that. They probably will take the credit for it, but I'll be happy if they're happy,
That's usually how it works in film. I compare it to working at a restaurant. The cook is the one that does either everything correct or wrong, but it's the waitress that gets in trouble, or the server that gets yelled at. So to me, that's kind of what happens is when something's so well done, it's the director that gets all the credit, even though it was the actor's idea or delivery or something like that in the moment. So yeah, actors don't always get their comeuppance when it needs to be. So yeah. What is your favorite role that you've been able to act into this moment? Not necessarily favorite film, but favorite role so far.
I would say it's actually couple roles, and because I'm always attracted to like a warrior films, being in fight and do things like that. So and comedies, but I think the first one more. So I was very much enjoying my own play, our own little short film that we created, where I was playing a Roman soldier. So that was fun. And just recently, I had played a German officer, a Nazi officer.
Yes.
So that was also actually fun.
So that was you were the soldier in the
both soldiers.
Roman sorceress, Revenge of the Roman Sorceress.
Revenge of the Roman Sorceress.
Right, and then the other one, you were the Nazi officer in The Gun Is Full of Wine.
Yes.
Which we will have the director and cinematographer on in a couple episodes. So, yeah. And I think your co-star will be in the next episode, Christian. So, yeah. This whole month is that whole show, that whole film. I got to see it at Flatwater. It was amazing. It was done well. It was the acting in it was on, I don't want to say par, because it just seems like you were just hitting notes, but it wasn't. Because the one thing that, when acting with children, to me, it can come off very fake. You know what I mean? If you're not used to being around kids or not, and I don't know if you are, but it seemed like the character was very comfortable and in the moment. And to me, that's how you can tell if an actor is good or not, in my opinion, is the subtleties. Talking to other, adults and things like that, man, that's what we do every day. But if you can talk to a kid or an animal, if you can, the two things that we say not to work with in film, if you can actually work with them and make it seem like you're not working at it, like you're delivering at them, to me, that proves you as an actor. And that was the one that I just saw you in, and it was awesome. It didn't take me out of it or anything like that. So
what helped also the fact that I am parent myself. So when I raised my daughter, and the little girl was a little daughter, in the film. So I was just trying to kind of like go back to what I was like with my daughter when she was that age.
Right. Do you find?
But it is difficult to work with children,
right,
because they're not like us. So you have to be really like on their understanding, and be connected with them.
Right.
Otherwise they get nervous, they start forgetting the lines, and it'll show.
Exactly.
So I think it's up to us to make them feel
More
comfortable and
right?
safe, so they can actually do their performance.
Because,
well.
like you said, they're probably just as nervous as you were going into it. So then you're like,
and if you show
hey.
it, they'll just react to it.
I got you. So with that being said, is there anything that you might tell like our younger viewers or listeners, like little children actors, something that you would tell them to go in and do to be on their best when they get on set or anything like that?
Younger viewers, like how much?
Like children.
Okay, all the little kids.
Yeah, the kids.
Well, make sure you have fun. That's
Okay.
something that you enjoy.
Right.
Because little kids, if you put too much pressure on them and stress them, they won't be able to cope with it, and they're not gonna have fun. And then it's gonna show. It's gonna be hard to film. From that point on, because you can't like raise your voice at them or not like this. It's just no. You gotta just really make sure that they have fun.
Right.
That they like what they're doing. They know what they're getting themselves into.
Right.
And they know they will have fun with it.
And I've worked with kids, but unfortunately they were all my own kids. So when I say unfortunately, I don't have a lot of experience working with other people's children on camera or directing them yet. But when it's your own kid, you already have like an unspoken language and how you can get away with talking to them that you might not get away with talking to other kids that way sometimes. And I will admit that I may have been harsher on Landon than anybody else on my set sometimes.
Work though.
It does work. Done. But it's to be said that everybody needs to be comfortable, I think.
Yes.
So even I've seen it to where like we were even on our set one time, the set of F, where I may have raised my voice or got a little heated towards you or Stacy, which is my wife. And it was nothing major, but it still obviously made other people uncomfortable in the moment.
Yeah.
So
rough times on that set. Not any air conditioning in that school at all. In the heat of July, dude.
Yeah, that set it was
Everybody was off it during there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring that up is there anything that you like to do as an actor, and maybe your bodybuilding comes into this, into the factor of just repetition or anything, something that you like to do to try to get out of your own head that you're not bringing the drama from outside, or maybe drama that's being stirred on set or something, to just kind of keep centered, stay in character, and not let all the outside affect your performance?
Let's see. Well, you mean we're still talking about working with the kids?
Anything, really, just you acting in general. So if it's with kids, you just acting like, the example how like if a kid did start flipping out, how are you gonna, because it's not your job to take care of the kid.
Yeah.
So how do you not start letting that affect you, and you kind of stay in your own little, bubble and be like, okay, not my issue. Let them deal with it. I need to work on this and stay in character.
Same thing, just maintain my composure, relax, and don't let it show it. That that they messed up, but don't let that show, because the kid will notice it. Just go, act. It's okay. It's normal. It's fine. Just don't let it show it. Just stay relaxed, and say it again. Something, that what needs to be redone, or do it again, but don't show it that you're frustrated with what's going on so far. So don't let it show it. That'll be fine. They'll be like, okay, nothing's going on. So we'll do this again, and they'll be fine.
So basically, just to sum it up, it's the same, advice. You use the same advice that you're going to give to our younger audience. Just have fun.
Yes.
Don't stress about it. You know, it could be stressful, but if you start learning and realizing, why did I do this in the first place? it was to have fun.
Yes.
So I think even we can learn that, going backwards and think, oh, was I always having fun on these sets? So like learn from that.
Sometimes it depends on what the scenario was or is. But with kids, definitely not really let it show it that you don't like what's going on. And I think it's like repetitions. You can always get a little better. So I think with kids, it's better to realize that you're gonna have to do a little bit more takes than just one or two. If they're gonna mess up, okay, maybe it's gonna be 3 takes, 4 takes. It happens with us with our play, but nobody showed it. Nobody showed it, and the child was relaxed, and she seemed to be even better. When we were actually asked her to do some takes again. So.
Very good. And not all children are that way, obviously. We're not like trying to pick on kids in the film industry by any means.
But like I think it depends on who's working with them. Right. I think every kid would be fine as long as the person that's working with the child, actor, director, just doesn't really show the things are not going well.
They're trustworthy.
Yes. Yeah. Just saying it's fine, we're having fun. But don't let it get carried away, because they got that thing, it's fine, they start acting up and things will get out of hands. Just maintain your composure and have fun with them.
What is one of the favorite things that you do other than the breaking down the script line by line and things like that? What is like one of your more favorite exercises that you do in class?
We do the I don't know what's it called, that exercise. It's kind of like 2 actors, and they have to say a line over and over again to each other until they finally have the connection. Like I can ask you, are you drinking coffee? You say, I'm drinking coffee. Are you drinking coffee? I'm drinking coffee. Are you drinking coffee? Over and over. And then when they finally get to that connection, snap, and we can continue with the script.
Nice.
Or we're doing sometimes the ugly exercise, which is called, when you actually play the complete opposite from what it is. So you make yourself look a little bit weird and loony, but it helps to change something in the, in the actor's brain that can actually help them develop the proper character. So it's like playing the complete opposite from what it is.
Okay. That's kind of cool. I like that. It's the whole, okay, let's look at the whole gamut of what we could do with this character, get the farthest thing out of the way. Now we know we don't need to touch that. Mm-hmm. Where do we meet him, out of that context now?
Yeah,
I kind of like that. That's kind of cool.
It happened with one of the scenes I was working on to be I think it was the mobster, and I was trying to bring my proper voice, but my acting coach asked me if I can try to run the lines with a really, really high pitch. So it was like saying the lines, and I had to be like really high, and so it sounded very like comedic and funny, but it helped me tone more of my own voice for when I was just trying to work the lines normally, so just out of the ordinary, just do something different, and that may help you shape into the proper character.
That's interesting. And we actually had
there's so many choices you can have with it. Sometimes you never know, it might be a good choice, or there's no right or wrong choice. There's just stronger and weaker ones. So you have to try everything, even though you think it's gonna be not right. You still want to try it. It may be the right one.
Well, and it's all
strong one.
And it's never, there's obviously like in acting or in stories, there's beats to be hit, but then in training, it's always a process. It's never anything set in stone.
Yes.
Like you were saying, it's very fluid, very, you just kind of find it and figure it out as it goes and, keep it fluid. And even in the finding out, and I think that's kind of where that exercise kind of falls into, is what doesn't work, allows you to figure out what does work. So even if we make a mistake or things like that, in front of the camera, behind the camera, it doesn't matter. Oh, I moved the camera. Maybe I don't want to do that this time. Let's redo that take. So it's the whole doing it enough, the repetition, and realizing not just, you're going to learn from your previous acting experience on set, your classes, and then bring that on to the next thing and everything like that. Do you ever see yourself getting to the point that you'll ever stop learning?
Not possible. And I think I can say that in general, anything, we do in life. It's like, I think anyone who says, I know it all, I don't need to learn it anymore, is a fool, and he still needs to learn a lot. I don't think that ever stops with anything. And acting is just so, you can go for 50 years, 60 years, I know some actresses from my country, which is Czech Republic, who's been an actress for 86 years.
Wow.
And she's been acting since she was like 6, and she's over 90 years old, but and she's still learning, still going at it. So acting is very, very, it's not as easy as one may think. It's fun, but I say that, like at the beginning, I said this is my 6th year, but it seems like I just have 6 months. So
Right.
there's really it's not that much time. It's like decades and decades. Because you're still learning, and it takes a long time to develop a good character, to shape a good character.
Well, and that's the other thing. We had another acting coach, Steve Hydeen, in on our first episode. He works with Nicole.
Improv.
And we had the conversation of, we do act. We don't consider ourselves actors, is what we were saying at the time. And then we started realizing at the end of that episode, we're like, oh, we kind of have to, say it. We're actors. We still do it. We put in the work. We may not do classes or anything like that, but we're still doing similar things that you guys do in the class. You do on set and everything like that. So I definitely think, moving forward, I want to talk to Nicole. I want to talk to Steve and be like, hey, we probably need to take a class or two, because we might not see ourselves as actors as that's the direction we're going, but it's still part of the storytelling process. Could you ever see yourself pivoting, not necessarily away from acting, but into other roles on set potentially to help tell a story in a different way, like behind the scenes?
I would. I was always, being a part of being in the production. Being a producer. Not sure if a directing. That would probably be much later when I'll get very comfortable as me being an actor, better actor. But I like the production. I like actually preparing things for the film, helping developing the film, and just all the things that are required to make a film. Contacting people, looking for somebody, get the right, make the good choices, casting.
You kind of did that with the Roman Sorcerers.
We did, yeah.
Right?
We had to do our own. A lot of calls, a lot of messages being done for that. I almost work not almost every day, actually. Every morning I have to answer all the messages and contact new people. So yeah, I would like to do that, being a part of a production, like a producer.
Nice.
Maybe even for casting.
Oh yeah, like a casting director or something like that. I would
Looking for good people, good actors.
Very good. Well, I think we've reached to the point in the episode that we're going to liven it up a little bit. Not that we haven't had some good conversation, enjoyed it, but Landon, I think, is going to take it to the kids' table.
What's up? The kids' table, if you don't know, is a little childish segment. I ask little questions that little kids would ask you. Just kind of pick your brain about, some things that aren't related to film and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Necessarily.
Yeah, like what's your favorite dinosaur?
Definitely, it's the T-Rex.
Classic. Can't go wrong with that. That's a classic, dude. And then you find a genie. What 4 things are you wishing for?
Wow, I can barely come up with one.
Okay.
Well, I would say one. Not just say one. I've always been this type of a guy that I just want to have the whole world to be a good place for everybody.
So world peace all around.
That's it.
All 4 wishes is world peace.
Yeah, do it times 4.
It might
That
take
wish
4
done.
wishes to do it right.
That's why I said times 4. That.
Sometimes it's how it's got to be, though.
Right.
There's nothing better in this world than everybody just gets along and we can go to sleep peacefully.
Right.
4 times the charm.
Yeah.
And then, what invention needs its own movie?
What invention needs its own movie?
These are the hard-hitting questions from the kids' table.
Yeah. We get deep over here.
I'm getting a little bit loaded here. What invention needs to... Wow. How would you answer it?
My go-to when he asked me the question and like threw it to me, I was like, "Oh, I want a whole movie about the toothpick." Like it seems like the most simple idea ever, but also the most stupid concept for an entire business
Yeah.
to be built on is a splinter
Like a little
that you
piece of
put in
wood.
your mouth to get food out.
And then throw away.
I want a movie about the toothpick.
Oh, that's... Okay, I see. Wow. I honestly don't know.
It's
I
fair.
have nothing in my head now, right now.
I have one, and I'm going to say tables.
Tables?
Tables. I want to know who thought of the table, man.
Probably a
Maybe I'm
caveman
just
that put his first beer on a rock.
It's
Went,
fair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sit
Maybe I'm just overthinking it.
Nah, impossible over at the kids' table.
No, the question for me.
Right. And maybe it's, the barbell. just to
Yeah,
stay in character a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, let me find another one here. Too much dead space. I'm sorry. 2 underrated colors.
2 underrated colors.
Yeah.
Maybe like a light brown.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like,
Not
light
quite
brown.
khaki, but...
And like really light green. Like loud green,
Right.
color.
I got you.
Isn't that what
Just like-
Shelby said too? Is
Something like that.
green?
Something like that.
When you look
Like,
at it, it makes
okay.
you feel like, oh!
Well, now we know what shirt colors we need to put out there.
Woo! And then, I'll hit you with one more. What's the best karaoke song? At least in your opinion.
Best karaoke song.
And it doesn't have to be one you sing.
Well,
Because I don't karaoke.
That'd be 0 because I can't sing at all.
Right.
Yeah, neither can I.
You cheat and go with the song Tequila then.
The best karaoke song, in my opinion, would be the. Wow.
I love the fact that these are the ones that are
Gonna
hard thinking
Napkin
questions.
over here so I can wipe off the sweat
Yeah.
here.
Like my questions about acting, he's
I
just
think
like,
I think I know the song. I just don't know the name of the song.
we can't have you sing it, unfortunately, because I don't know if they would get on us or not.
Yeah, I don't want to get any copyright infringements here. So, yeah, the American Pie.
Okay.
Okay.
I know. You think it's a movie. It was a song.
I know the song.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
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 Cool.
Yeah. Well, is there anything coming up that's on your plate for acting or projects wise that you would like to tell the audience to maybe keep an eye out for or anything like that?
We just finished filming a project, and we'll be doing a showcase in November 7th, which is gonna be at the big canvas, and so we're sort of preparing for that. The whole class, and the most people in the class, and no, nothing else this year coming up for me. First filming that I know, but you never know, something might just suddenly pop up.
Yeah.
And I have finished filming a film with Curtis, who made a film that he actually submitted at the OFF, so it should come out there next year. It's called The Unexpected Guest. It was a short 6 minutes film.
Nice.
And that was another playing like this soldier, who was a wife. And he's always out, being deployed, and so she's kind of frustrated not having any time and not having a family. So
do you?
It was a nice scene.
You do have a very specific look to you, obviously. Do you find that as you might get typecast a little bit more than others?
Mm-hmm. I think I don't get cast enough.
Okay.
Because I can. I'm open for, like I said, I like the warrior and I like the strong, kind of stand out roles. But my coach always says that I'm like the very potential in comedy, and she loves the fun thing on me. She said, this is my favorite, it's very funny. You can be naturally funny, or sometimes you're being just accidentally funny, and it's always gonna be funny.
Right.
So comedy would be a great thing that I can be casted, and I can have fun with it.
So what do you think of like other like bigger, like broader hero type looking guys like Dave Bautista, for example? Most people would want to put him into like the Drax role for the rest of his life, but he's kind of stepped away from that kind of thing and went more realistic with like the Onion. The Onion maybe not as much, because he's still kind of playing an influencer in a sense in that.
Knock at the Cabin.
Knock at the Cabin is a very good example to where it's not your typical role that you would see a person that looks like him be in that role. You know what I mean? So
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
No, definitely check it out. But yeah,
he's in the movie. He's like this big brute guy, like you kind of are, but he's like an insanely soft, like teddy bear dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's not like, he looks like
he's not the stereotype.
Superhero. Yeah, he looks like he's a superhero, but he's really just super chill and humble in the movie.
And I think that might have been, the way the society kind of branded people, because for the longest time, the 80s and 90s went, oh, if you have any sort of muscle, you must be an action star.
Yeah.
Or a bad guy, especially if you have an accent. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stereotypes went away with that one.
So, what would be like your dream role if somebody just knocked at your door in the next week to 2 years, whatever, dream role that you would be like, yes?
It would be I'm not gonna say a role, exact like particular role, but I'm gonna give the idea.
Right.
That is in the future, that's my real goal, my dream. I try to get as much attraction to it as I can, is to be casted in shows such as GOT, Vikings, the Spartacus, and I've actually tried to because there's a spin-off of Spartacus, and it's called the House of Asher, and they film in New Zealand. They were casting people. I was gonna go for it, but unfortunately we were declined because we don't have a work permit to work in New Zealand, so kind of didn't work. But it was a big step, big decision. We were excited to do that, because that's what I want to be, those shows.
Very
It
good.
doesn't have to be film. It could be a show.
And hey, maybe, I believe Henry Cavill's doing the new remake or reboot of Highlander.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen something.
Yeah. So maybe something in that world.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
You can be an immortal.
I could definitely
never
see
say
that.
no. Never say no.
I could
to
definitely see him in the Highlander.
Some sword
world.
play.
Hell yeah.
It could be fun.
And now, you've done a lot of films in your time here, and have you done any like theater work? And are you like interested in doing theater, or are you
Yes.
just kind of
Yes.
sticking
I'm
to
always-
film?
I love stage acting. I just did recently stage acting at the Florence Theater in August, which was the Aeroplane, which is parody comedy it's a parody based on the comedy from the 80s, the Aeroplane.
Right.
You
Oh,
know
yeah.
it. I don't know if Landon knows it, but you've seen that maybe. And it turned out really good. We were sold out. People loved it, and that's what it
Were
matters.
you the pilot?
One of the navigators. Actually, I had multiple roles. I had like 5 roles, so I did a lot of costume changing.
Wow.
Okay.
Going from
You were the
doctor-
inflatable.
Yeah, they had that one actually.
Nice.
It was funny because when it first popped up, people just exploded laughing, and it was really fun when you know that you're there for a reason, and that it actually happened. People
Mhm.
laughed, they had a good time, especially during that crazy storm. We had a play what
Right.
happened after that, so
Yeah.
people were depressed and sad. So it was a really good timing to make people laugh at least a little bit, so they can relax from everything that's happened.
I think that's the great thing about plays, film. That's the one thing that we can all agree on is it literally is an escape
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
anything that we're doing in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a good or a bad escape. Sometimes, for example, I did a film, I portray Santa Claus during the holiday season. Well, I did a movie that I got to be Santa in.
Mm.
Well, not just watching movies, but being on set, creating a movie, telling the story can help and be therapeutic or an escape.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was, we filmed it last year during December, but at the beginning of last year, I had 3 major people in my life pass away within the first 4 months. I had 2 grandparents and my father-in-law. So like December, by the time I got to the end of the year, I'm just like, this year I'm done. Can 2024 happen? But it's amazing, thinking about that, but then being able to go back as well and watch it again. So being able to tell people at like festivals and things like that, oh yeah, because we were at Flatwater where Dial M for Monster played, Gun is Full of Wine, and also The Visit played, and you get to see people's reaction to it again, and even not during the holiday, so like sometimes you make a movie that's not quite right for a specific time, but it can still hit. That says a lot, so being able to tell that story and allow those, your audience to escape in that moment, I think tells so much about why we do what we do on a regular basis. So
I had one question. Because you said you have done stage and film before, do you feel a different kind of stress between each, or do you kind of take in the same mindset of just have fun, don't stress about it, just kind of, or does it feel different between the two?
Well, it's kind of hard to point out how different, because theater is different. You have to be a little louder, you have to project more so people can hear all that stuff. So TV, it's different when you're filming in front of a camera. But I always see theater is a little bit more challenging, because in a film, when you forget your line or something happened, you do wrong, blooper, okay, cut, let's do this again. You can't do that on theater.
Yeah.
You have to be right on point. Right? If something happens, you cannot let it show it, and you either improvise and we sort of run into the situation, but we managed to get away with it pretty good. But I always say, in order for me to prevent that happening, is definitely a prep work. The
Right.
more you prepare yourself for something, the less chances are that something will go wrong. And since theater, you know that you don't have a safety net. You know, like in film, you know, it's okay if I mess up, I'll just cut retake. But in a theater, you can.
Right.
So you have to work hard. And that kind of subconsciously, you learn how to really invest your time and how to focus for the preparation for the role. You basically work harder.
Right.
So I think that can set you up really well for, if you have the same mentality, it can set you up for preparing yourself for film. Like, I remember the time I worked so hard, you know, with theater, I did all this, I did all the steps, all the preparation. Well, do the same thing when you start working, you know, for a film, when you're filming something. So it's the same procedure.
Right.
Work is hard. You know, I think it's really nothing is worse when somebody walks into a set and they even have a still script and there's the memorizing lines. Like then one take, second take, third take. Okay, you're not ready. Because there is no need. Maybe you can mess up once, you know, but if somebody messes up like 3 times, that's already like not being prepared. Yep. So I always say preparation, you know, proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's my 5 P's.
Nice.
I always say.
Okay.
Preparation
there you go. The
poor
5
performance.
P's.
Yep.
Yes.
I learned that from bodybuilding. That's the next.
Okay.
So like
okay.
bodybuilding,
So
the theater, the film, everything kind of set me up for something else.
Hey,
you know?
everything works together.
Yeah. And
Nice.
I
Very
learned
good.
my lesson, and I create that same discipline and same order. So I do the
Perfect.
same thing now as an actor.
Awesome.
Well-
Same hard work. Everything has to be. The harder you work, the more it shows. You know, people are gonna love it.
Right.
Exactly. Well, with that, I think that's the best part to just, you know, end on, because you kind of, the 5 P's was the perfect, you know, structure to like give the audience something to think about a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Z, for being here
Thank you
on
for
the
having me.
episode.
Sure, yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to plug other than maybe join you in an acting class?
Yes, we are still ready for, you know, more students. If anybody wants to join 402 Arts, we are located in West Omaha, and it's a new building now. So Nicole Callahan is the acting coach, and we currently have 6 active students,
Okay.
maybe 7. So if you're interested in acting or learning acting, you're starting out, or you're a little bit more advanced, you know, this is a place to do it. I mean, Nicole Callahan is the gem. She's like, she will show you and teach you only the right way. You know, she's very good. She's not gonna let you slide with mistakes. You know, that's what this is about. It's not about you going to class and, no, that's a great job. You know, it's
Right.
like pointing out your mistakes and learn from those mistakes, and that's how you get better. So
perfect.
we're not about throwing compliments. So it's very, very good, a very good class, you know, to learn acting and be better actor.
Awesome.
And that's I would like to anybody, if anybody wants to join it, just, you know, go for it.
All right. Very good. Well, guys, that has been the Filmmakers Hangout Podcast. Again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.
Adioses.
Bye-bye.